Hello everybody! Thank you so much for all of your wonderful comments under our last video about Jah Jireh. Mike and I were reading through them this morning, and many of them are very funny. Loved them. And there was a few, I don't know if they're Jehovah's Witness or apologists, defending the witnesses and saying, oh, now Mike and Kim, you know that witnesses wouldn't leave the mess like this. We didn't say they were the ones that left the mess, but they did leave their belongings behind so that vandals could scatter this everywhere. Why did they leave all of these things in the building, and why is the building not secure? And another thing is, this building could have been turned into a homeless shelter. If nothing else, donate it to the city or another organization that will turn it into a homeless shelter. It could have been a tax write-off, right? Just saying. So I had an email this morning from someone, and I am going to just call them FD. Thank you so much for the information you sent. Now this involves another Jah Jireh and Kingdom Hall scandal, so to speak. And I'm going to read what he has. Matthew 13:25. His enemy came and oversowed weeds. I find your sense of humor hilarious. This was really funny. It was. Okay, your video about Jake exploring a Jah Jireh home inspired me. All right. According to Watchtower's publication, Insight on the Scriptures, under the topic Most High, the Hebrew word El-Hon, used with reference to Jehovah as Most High, is also applied to other persons or things. And that was on page 441, I believe, on volume 2. This story definitely deserves the phrase Most High in reference to other persons or things. Funny. Google these three little words: Jehovah, Cannabis, and Mirtha. The top result will be the walesonline.co UK News Wales Police. Now I'm going to put the link down below to this article because it is a real article. Wales Online. Let's see, the date on this article is... actually, I don't see the date on this article. I don't know when this was done. Oh, I'm sorry. April 2017 by Will Hayward. Name of the article: Police find almost 800 cannabis plants growing in an iconic town center chapel. Like I said, it's got video with pictures and an article. And I'm going to read this article here. Officers only discovered the huge operation after conducting a spot check on someone acting suspiciously. From the information obtained, they discovered the unbelievable hall brazenly being grown in the town center. There's a picture of the Kingdom Hall. The former Kingdom Hall for Jehovah's Witnesses on Newcastle Street in Merthyr Tydfil. Police also found another hall of plants in a property on Pont Malera Street. A man has been arrested and charged with producing cannabis. Picture of the Kingdom Hall. And there's picture inside of cannabis plants everywhere. It mentions the Salem Chapel was once a congregation church used by the Salvation Army and Merthyr Council. Since 1986, the chapel has been the Kingdom Hall for Jehovah's Witnesses. Now our source has gone on with this. He's got the picture of inside the Kingdom Hall. Viewers in the United Kingdom will instantly recognize the standard issue Kingdom Hall chairs from the 1980s, in addition to the Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Witness sign on the outside of the building. View in 3D on Google Street Maps, and he's got the link to that. I recognize the chairs, same kind we had in Cottonwood. Okay. My first question was, is this a fulfillment of Bible prophecy at Matthew 13:25? The full story about what led to this situation gets more interesting. Read on. A consultation of the financial spreadsheet posted recently on jw.in reveals that Merthyr Kingdom Hall is located in the Jah Jireh care home. Why? What's the story? For several years prior to the LDC taking charge, 2 congregations had been saving up money to build a joint, Kingdom Hall project. Merthyr Tydfil and neighboring congregation Tree Harris, apologize if that's not how you pronounce it. The 2 congregations had entered a financial agreement together in 2006 and purchased land ready to build the joint Kingdom Hall. Both congregations had old properties, former churches which needed expensive maintenance and were too costly to renovate. The purchase of the joint, I know, there's a lot of references to cannabis in here. The purchase of the joint land was celebrated as a blessing from Jehovah. Play sound of scratch record. Wait! Within 12 months, look what happened. According to the official Jah Jireh website. Sorry, I'm trying to read this quickly and prevent myself from laughing. Jah Jireh Merthyr was officially opened in June 2007 with 51 in-suite bedrooms, with the local congregation of Merthyr renovating the ballroom to have a Kingdom Hall on site. And then there's a link to the jahjireh.org/ourhomesmerthyr. Yes, the development of a Jah Jireh nursing home in Merthyr came with an offer too good to refuse. Bring your congregation here and we'll give you a free Kingdom Hall. The catch? All you must do is look after our elderly residents. We'll build a door connecting the Kingdom Hall to the Jah Jireh home so residents can literally fall out of bed into the meetings. So now the elders in the Merthyr congregation had a tempting prospect. A free Kingdom Hall to move into straight away in their own locality of Merthyr. We can keep our money we've accumulated or set up a fund for us hard-working elders. No need to waste time and efforts building a new Kingdom Hall further away. Congregation members would not need to travel to Tree Harris. We can stay here in Merthyr. 50 plus new congregation members. This will look good on our next CEO report. We'll get lots more regular donations. What are the negatives? We already made an agreement with Tree Harris congregation and purchased land. Tree Harris will not be able to afford to build a Kingdom Hall on their own without our funds. We may get into trouble about this with the branch. Attempting to wriggle out of their contract with Tree Harris, the Merthyr elders wrote to the Tree Harris elders and claimed that Jehovah has provided a gift of a free Kingdom Hall. Come join us. The reply from the Tree Harris elders, aware of the excessive travel distance from Tree Harris to Merthyr and the fact that plans were already underway for construction of the agreed new Kingdom Hall, replied with this Bible quotation, Matthew 5:37. Just let your word yes mean yes. The relationship between the two bodies of elders deteriorated, and finally the branch became involved. But it was too late. Since Merthyr had by this time reneged on their promise, they had moved into their new Kingdom Hall at Jah Jireh. From that moment on, the former Kingdom Hall lay empty. It was listed for sale, but there were no buyers. Now, I just want to mention that he also added that the person who was growing the marijuana was not a Jehovah's Witness, had no affiliation with Jehovah's Witnesses, but the congregation was assigned to take care of the building, secure it, and watch over it so that this kind of thing wouldn't happen. The well-built masonry building was well insulated with a large open space, ideal for a drug farm. It was only a matter of time. Yeah. If you're wondering what happened to the slighted congregation, Tree Harris, well, they waited and waited, and eventually the branch directed that another congregation join them and together build a smaller, cheaper Kingdom Hall. Maybe one of these congregations should be put on our Watchtower congregation lid. To this day, there are elders in Tree Harris that refuse to speak to the elders in Merthyr Tydfil. Welcome to the spiritual paradise. And it says submitted under the pseudonym FD. Credentials: I am a former pioneer elder, now faded, who served for many years in several congregations in that area. I was the coordinator of a nearby congregation and was authorized to sit on special committees by the CO. This is how I got to hear firsthand inside info about these matters. Over the years, I served in many congregations wherever the CO or the branch asked us to go, and have been involved in closing down congregations to sell off the property. The whole experience of how the branch processes that situation was purely business oriented. So, this is right from someone who is involved in these congregations being closed down. And thank you so much, FD, for sharing this information with us. It helped me to wake up. That is awesome. It is vital that I maintain my anonymity for a while longer, and we understand that, because these elders and even a CO that we've had contact with, they have to remain anonymous. They have to stay in because of family and obligations and stuff. And that's fine. But this is great because they leak this information out to all of us so that we can get it out. But, this is why we have to protect them. And Mike and I, do everything in our power to protect these sources. For humor, was the congregation bank account a joint account? Since the Kingdom Hall was originally a church, did the old stone engraving with the word Mary have the additional word Jane engraved next to it? Great. When confronted by the police, did the offender quote a Bible passage to justify his actions? You should bring from your dwelling places 2 loaves as a wave offering. Leviticus 23:17. If so, did the policeman reply with his own question? There is death in the pot, O man of the true God. 2 Kings 4:40. I'm getting tears in my eyes. This is hilarious. What next? I'd love to see a cart crasher approach the local JWs on the carts in Murtha and pretend to try and buy some weed. Maybe they could print off this newspaper article about the cannabis and show it to them saying, look, I know you've got a stash behind this cart and I'm offering to make a financial donation. Come on, guys, don't keep all the good stuff for yourselves. Thank you so much, FD. Appreciate it for this information. And just a quick here on another article that came across my desk this morning. The San Diego Reader, Jehovah's Witnesses to settle sex abuse case. And this was written on January 12th, 2018. And I'll have the link to this article down below also. A lawsuit is now settled between a former victim of child abuse and Jehovah's Witnesses. According to the court's website, the case is under a conditional settlement. The terms and conditions of the settlement are not public. Jose Lopez filed the lawsuit back in 2012, nearly 20 years after the church elder Gonzalo Campos molested him and several other young children who were members of the Linda Vista Congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses. As reported by the Reader, Campos, who fled to Mexico to escape criminal charges, admitted to committing the acts to Lopez and another victim's attorney, Devin Story, while giving testimony in one of the cases. And they have his testimony. And you can also find this on YouTube. Just type in Campos, Elder Campos's testimony, and he actually admits it. And then he takes off from Mexico. Coward. In 2009, 5 other alleged victims sued the Watchtower and Bible Tract Society of New York, the governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses, over the molestation by Campos and the Watchtower refusal to act. The case settled for an undisclosed amount in 2012, the same year that Lopez filed his lawsuit, and a year before another victim, Osvaldo Padron, filed his. Then in 2015, a state court judge ruled that the Watchtower had failed to cooperate with discovery in the Lopez case. The judge awarded $13.5 million judgment in favor of Lopez. Get every penny you can. The Watchtower later appealed the decision and managed to get the decision rescinded and promised to produce the requested documents. Now, we all are familiar with this one, the $4,000 a day fine. Meanwhile, a fight over documents was also occurring in Padron's case, the one filed shortly after Lopez's lawsuit. At issue was Watchtower's refusal to turn over a letter from headquarters that asked for the names of alleged sexual abusers in the church. There's infamous pedophile list. But at the same time, other documents had been released by the Linda Vista congregation which showed the congregation and headquarters were aware that Campos had sexually assaulted young boys and a girl, but still considered him eligible to return to the congregation. And this is where all of us ex-members have issues with Watchtower. Yeah, they protect pedophiles. I don't care how much they deny it. They do. In our meeting with him, he said he was very repentant for what he did, wrote an elder at Linda Vista's Congregational Watchtower headquarters in New York in 1999. He stated that he wanted to return to Jehovah. He is willing to face the victims and ask their forgiveness. He now wants to obey Jehovah. Before, when he would speak to people on the platform, he would not meditate on what he was doing. Although he needed to confess, he felt shameful and had fear of mankind. He would deceive himself into thinking that he could continue serving as an elder. Now he realized that he could not change without help. Ever since his expulsion, he has not abused anyone. He has read articles of the publications regarding his sin. He says he does not see or read pornographic information. He stated that ever since expulsion he has worked on having a relationship with Jehovah, and the expulsion has served to strengthen him spiritually. He does not miss meetings, and he even takes notes on the program. He also said that he's willing to continue accepting Jehovah's discipline. Then why did he run off to Mexico instead of facing, the courts? Ay, 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 ay. While the two sides continued to fight over discovery in the Lopez case, another judge issued sanctions against the Watchtower for refusing to turn over documents in the Padron case. The Watchtower also appealed that decision as well. As covered by the Reader in November, a state appellate court rejected the appeal, sending the case back to state court and keeping the $4,000 per day sanction in place. Meanwhile, as the Padron case was heading back to state court, attorneys for Lopez and Watchtower agreed to settle the Lopez case. Lopez's attorney, Erwin Zalkin, did not respond to a request for comment prior to publication of this article. There's no word yet whether Padron's case has been settled. A hearing is scheduled for next month. Now, also, you can go to the San Diego Superior Court, and it's case number 37-2012-0009984-CU-PO-CTL. And it looks like their next court date is April 27th, and it's a summary of judgment and motion for summary. But the latest was on December 15th, notice of dismissal by court. So we'll try to keep everybody up to date on that. So a lot of information here, I know. Thank you so much, everybody, for everything. And just know that we love you guys, and we're going to try to keep, all this news and stuff coming out as best as we can. And you all have a wonderful week. Bye.